Good afternoon and greetings. My name is Tamika Strong, and I am the Reference and Research Division Manager at the Auburn Avenue Research Library. And today we're going to have our next installment of the Find a Friday series. And today's topic is AARL Archives Additional Resources. So, I just wanted to tell you a bit about the Find a Friday series. It is a series designed to assist researchers in discovering information utilizing the resources available through the Auburn Avenue Research Library and the Fulton County Library System. This series takes place monthly from 12 to 1 on the third Fridays via Zoom. Our next presentation will be held on July 18th, and that presentation will discuss Fold 3. So, as I said, today's presentation will cover additional information about the Auburn Avenue Research Library's archival division. And so I'm going to go ahead and stop my video, and I'm going to share my screen. And what we're going to do first is we're going to kind of do a quick overview of our website so that you'll know exactly where you need to go in order to access resources related to the archives. So here we're on the Auburn Avenue Research Library's main website. And if you notice on the black navigation bar, you'll see links to our home, which is the home page that we're currently on. You'll see a link to the history of AARL. You also see links to each division, the programs and outreach, reference and research, as well as archives. Additionally, you'll also see a link for e-resources that are available both in on site and remotely, meaning you can access some of these resources from home. But then lastly, there's the Support Auburn Avenue Research Library um, link where you can find out more information about ways in which you can support us. And so, starting at the archives website, once you click on that link, it will take you to a page that provides information about the archives, but it also has links about the different components or different sections. So if we scroll down, you'll see some of our collection highlights. We do have in our possession the Andrew Young papers, and we'll talk a little bit more about those later on because that is one of the main features for one of the other resources that we're going to review. We also have the Atlanta Life Insurance Company records, the National Conclave of Georgia, excuse me, Grady Graduate Nurses Collection, as well as many others. And so you can also see where our collection strengths are. And so we really have a great deal of resources on these various topics. And we also have ephemera collections on these topics as well. And so with that being said, one of the first things we really want to do is show you how you can locate these resources in our collection. And so, if you want to learn more about some of the collections that we have available, if you click on the first link, you can get a full list of all the archival collections that are available. And this is really interesting in the sense that you can kind of get a sense of some of the individuals who have donated their papers, some of the other collections that we have, including our archives map collection, amongst other things. So, if there's a topic that you are interested in, you can always come to this page and click on archival collections. Or if you have something in particular you're looking for, you can actually search our archival finding aids. And once you click on that link, it's going to bring you to our um, archive space instance, which is the place where we have our resources. So the finding aids is the resource that you can utilize to locate materials based on topic, based on individual, or just to explore our records just to see what resources we do have available. And so here, first search I would like to try is to see if we had any information on the historic Black neighborhood Collier Heights. And so I'm just going to key in my search terms. And from my keyword search, I received 13 results, and the first 10 of the 13 are being displayed. And so we do have the Adamsville Collier Heights Library Branch Collection, which talks about the branch that's located in that neighborhood that is a part of the Fulton County Public Library System. We also have a collection on some construction company records. We have many more items, and it looks like they're all from the same collection, except for this last one, this Collier Heights Community Salute to Legends um, resource that's available in a particular collection. So the way that you decipher this page is the main topic or the main link here provides you with information about the name of the collection that has your search terms in it. But the most important part is down here where it says found in. It tells you the library, us, which is Auburn Avenue Research Library, but also tells you the particular collection. In addition to that, you also want to make note of the identifier, which if you wanted to see this collection, you would reach out to us and you would provide us with this information as well as the name of the particular box or resource you wanted to review. So in case of this first one, there are um, different components to this collection. And so there's each on the side where it says collection organization, each of those represent, each of the items listed represents a different folder in the collection. And so the other thing to make note of is the extent, which provides you the size of the collection. So this is half of linear feet. So think linear feet for Auburn. One linear feet is a banker box. And so half of a linear feet is basically half of a banker box. And so when you're doing archival research, you definitely want to be mindful of the size of the collection so that you can plan appropriately. You plan appropriately for your visit so that you'll have enough time to go through the resources that you are reviewing. And so just to do another search, I'm just going to go back to and start over by clicking the magnifying glass. And I'm going to do a search for yearbooks. So we do have a yearbook collection. And to learn what schools we have represented, you will just type in yearbook and click on that collection. But the interesting thing about archival collections is that there may be other yearbooks in other collections. So we have a yearbook collection, but there may be additional collections that themselves have yearbooks. So depending upon what type of yearbook you're looking for, it may not be in our yearbook collection and it could be in another collection. So if we click on yearbook collection, on the right, you will see the different schools. And if you click the arrow beside it, you actually will see the years. So for Ralph Johnson Bunch Middle School, we have 1986 and 87. So we also have yearbooks for local Atlanta schools, including Douglas, Howard High School, Luther Judson Price High School, Booker T. Washington, Turner High, as well as others. We also have some for universities and colleges. We also have a few from Morehouse. We have some from Spelman. So depending upon the school that you're looking for, you can search our collection and pull up yearbooks from that institution. And so over here on extent, you will see that we have approximately 75 volumes. So that means we have in this collection 75 yearbooks. But as I said before, if you look at the results list, you'll see that the yearbook collection is 1 out of 27. So there are 26 other resources, some of which are digital for yearbooks that you can locate. So I'm going to do one more search. in our finding aids. And so we know that family history research is becoming very popular. And so we do have amongst our archival collections family papers. And so if you just were curious in terms of what type of family history resources we have, you can type in the very generic family history. Or if you were looking for family history in a certain location, maybe you will want to type in your search terms, like I would put Georgia just to see. So we have 123 search results. But if I do family history, I'm just going to throw out, let's do Alabama, just to see. So from 123, we went to 20. And so that lets you know that the more keywords you add to your searches, the more information or the more restrictive your research, your results will be. So that is just a quick overview of, very basic overview of, the finding aids. And again, you can search by name. You can also search by subject. You can look for the digital materials that we have as well as looking at the collections themselves. And so, but most people would utilize the keyword search just to search across all of the collections all at once. So the next resource we're going to discuss is the Auburn Avenue Research Library Archives YouTube channel. And so what I want to do is in the chat, I'm actually going to throw in the links of the resources that we're utilizing today, because some of the links are not readily available on our website. So I just wanted to make sure that you had these and we're able to pull these up and maybe bookmark them if need be. So the first one was finding aids, and that's simply from our Auburn Avenue Research Library website. The next one is the Archives YouTube channel. Now, this is a separate YouTube channel from the main Auburn Avenue Research Library YouTube. So I'm going to put both in the chat. So for Auburn Avenue, we have this. This is our main YouTube page. And so it's us by Auburn Avenue Research Library. And then you can look by videos, you can look for shorts. And then I also wanted to highlight the fact that we do have playlists. And playlists is basically like we have organized our YouTube videos in certain categories. And so the recordings for the Finding Fridays are also listed on our YouTube channel. So if you have missed one, like we've had one on Progress Historical Black Newspapers, we've had the first part of the Auburn Avenue Research Library Archives Division presentation that is also saved there as well. So if you would like to, you can go back and you can actually review those videos. And so moving on to the AARL Archives YouTube, you'll see the change in the title. And so the link for that is included in the chat. And this resource is the place where is the resource that they're utilizing and posting a lot of content from the Andrew Young papers. So audio recordings as well as some other resources are included within this resource. And so if you click on Andrew J. Young papers, it's going to bring you to the playlist. That's going to pull up all of the videos from that. But if you go back and you just do home or even videos, if you click on videos, which I thought this was really neat, you can actually see the videos listed individually. And what you see is the title of the individual video plus how many views and also how long ago it was posted. And so if there's a particular component of his collection that you were interested in, this would be a great way to explore it. Like there's a video with Jesse Jackson and the Maynard Jackson rally when Andrew Young was during his campaign for the Atlanta mayor. As an Atlanta native, I got really excited when I saw this walk through the Metro Atlanta in the 1980s. And so I was around during that time. And so I remember riding on the MARTA buses that looked like the buses that you see in the image. And so if you're Atlanta native, this is a great way to do a walk down memory lane, but it also provides a great deal of information about some of the resources contained within the Andrew Young collection. And so if you're doing research on Andrew Young, this is definitely something that you want to take a look at because it provides a lot of great visuals that can help supplement your research. And like I see now that there's Pearl Cligg, who's one of my favorite authors. And so there's a lot of good stuff here. And I'm actually going to come back and revisit this page myself just to look at some of the videos. Because sometimes with archival collections, you never know what you're going to find, and so it's always good to kind of get in and just play around and just see what information becomes available or is available. Wow. Okay. And so that is the AARL Archives YouTube page. So the next resource we wanted to highlight is the Omega Instance. It's a digital collection of our photograph collection that we're currently processing up in the Archives Division on the Hollywood studio exclusively for coloreds. So there was a photography studio located in Macon, and we were able to acquire that entire collection. And so, one of the things that we're doing while we're processing it is that we actually have this project to help identify the individuals that are in the pictures. And so, here about the collection, it provides an overview, and it says that the collection is currently housed at the Auburn Avenue Research Library in Atlanta. It has been in our holdings for over 25 years and is currently being processed. The collection is home to over 130,000 images, including both photographs and photo negatives, as well as corresponding ephemera from a portrait studio in Macon, Georgia. The images in the collection span from 1953 to 1996 and showcase many different aspects of life in town, including weddings, holidays, family portraits, and much more. There are some photographs of white individuals in this collection. However, the vast majority of the images are of Black individuals living in Macon. And so, what our archival staff did was they provided you with a tentative schedule of the types of photographs that they're planning to add to this collection in 2025. And so, I realize I'm talking about this, but I have not included the link in the chat, so we're going to do that right now. And so the interesting thing about this collection is they have divided the photographs up into different categories. And so if you were interested in seeing churches, you just click on that link. And I know it seems like the page did not really change, but actually it did. You just have to scroll down. And so we see that churches is coming soon. But there are some photographs in the Christmas section. So these are photographs that they curated that illustrate people celebrating Christmas. And so if you hit the arrows, you can actually scroll through and see the different photographs. Some of these are in black and white, and they really do illustrate Black life in Macon. So these are some sharp individuals wearing their Sunday best. So, yeah. So the thing is, with the project, one of the reasons why they have the collection identification initiative is that they want to change the title of this photograph from Woman Placing Christmas Presents to Providing Her with a Name. We really want to identify the individuals in these photographs. And so we can also do, let's see, it's couples. Yeah, we have some couples. So it's displaying love in the community and individuals who took a couple photograph. And so, of course, again, we would love to put names to these faces because these are beautiful faces. And just imagine if you were trying to research your family history and you learned that there are actual photographs of some of the individuals you were researching at a local repository, and that you're able to actually see these photographs, some of which probably have not been seen by individuals in the family. So this is going to be a really, really popular, I'm sure, resource and a valuable resource, especially for those researching. And I can't wait to see the community's reaction and participation with the identification initiative so that we can, of course, add names to these faces. So the last resource that is available online related to some resources or collections available at Auburn Avenue is our collections held by the Digital Library of Georgia. And I'm going to put that link in the chat. But I also wanted to explore the different ways that you can actually access our collections. And so if you wanted to just see what type of information was available for Auburn Avenue, for instance, you can type in a keyword search and it's going to give you the search results, which is one of 7,634. So there are a lot of resources on Auburn Avenue. And so when you're looking at the search results, you'll see the title, which provides just, the name. But then on the creator, it shows you what collection this comes from. So there was the creator is the Lane Brothers Commercial Photographers, Atlanta, Georgia. And then this is the collection, the official name for the collection. But then it also provides you with the holding institution. And this is important because the physical copies of these materials are held at these institutions. So if I'm doing research on Auburn Avenue, just to learn more about the street and its history, the holding institutions gives me some clues as to what institutions I can go visit. So I can go to Georgia State University Special Collections. I can go to Atlanta History Center, and I can go to Auburn Avenue. There's some information in the New Georgia Encyclopedia, as well as some others. And so if you wanted to utilize some of the refining tools that they have on the left, the different facets, you can actually go to holding institution and get a full list of the different institutions. So we have Auburn Avenue Research Library, which has the most. There are some maps that are available from from the University of Georgia, again, Georgia State University, Atlanta History Center, the McCain Library. I'm not familiar with that, so I'm just going to open up a new tab to explore that one. The Washington Memorial Library down in Middle Georgia. The Delta Flight Museum actually has some resources. And so what you can do is, if you're really interested in what particular resources are available from these different holding institutions, you can do like I did and right click on it just to see what records are available. And so this is the McCain Library from Agnes Scott College. And so there are some resources there. But then there are also some resources from Delta Airlines. So I really want to see what they have available in the Delta resources. So the thing about keyword searches is that they put the keywords out there, and whatever resource they show up in, that's what you're going to pull up. And so this might be something that is not very helpful, but it's something that's kind of interesting because you never really know what you're going to uncover in these digital collections. And so there's some information from the Columbia Theological Seminary. These are their course catalog bulletins. So that's a very generic search on Auburn Avenue. Now, if we wanted to be more specific in our search and we wanted to see what resources were available from certain institutions, we can actually click on Explore, and then we can go down to Institutions. And this will allow us to look at all the resources available for particular institutions. And so if we wanted to use Auburn Avenue as our institution, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. We can click on that link and it's going to take us to this section, or it's going to do an expand, and it's going to provide us with more information about the particular institution. So the Archives Division, it offers patrons the opportunity to work with primary source materials, which document the experiences of African Americans in Atlanta, the Southeastern region, and throughout the nation. And so included with that is a listing of the sub collections that are available digitally here on the Digital Library of Georgia. So you can also click on the home page. You can also learn more about this institution by clicking on that link. And you can also open up the all items page. So if you want to see all the items from a particular institution, you can do that. Or if you just wanted to go to the institution page on DLG, you can click on that link and it's going to provide you with some additional information, including the parent institution, the address, as well as the phone number, as well as links to the different collections. And so I am a lover of opening up new tabs so that I can maintain my original starting place. And so if I do that, I open up the Edward Randolph Carter, and Andrew Jackson Lewis collection. And this collection are the papers of the infamous African American Baptist minister and pastor of Friendship Baptist Church, E.R. Carter, or Edward Randolph Carter, and his grandson, who was an Atlanta educator and principal, Andrew Jackson Lewis. And it also gives you the time frame that it covers from 1905 to 1942. And so with this collection, it also provides you with some subject headings so that you'll know what types of topics are covered in the collection. And in the description, it gives you more details about some of the materials that you can find in this collection. And so beyond that, you actually see thumbnails of the different components of the collection. And so if you were interested in Boy Scouts in Atlanta, this is a great collection to review because there's a lot of information about the Boy Scouts from the 1940s. And they have images with the Boy Scouts Christmas card. And it's just a really great way to kind of explore the history of Boy Scouts and African Americans in the city of Atlanta for a certain time frame. So moving on to another collection, the Community Art in Atlanta. So this is a collection where it has 55 documentary photographs of the Neighborhood Art Center from 1975 to 1989, an Atlanta-based African American Center cultural and community organization. So this would provide some good information for individuals like myself who are Atlanta natives. Oh, wow. So this is the unveiling of a sculpture, and it has our watermarks on it. So I kind of got excited because I saw Auburn Avenue Research Library up at the top, but I realized that's just a watermark so that people will know where they found this image. But then there's so many more. And it's like you can actually change the number that you see on the page. And if you wanted to, you can change how they're presented. So you can do a table format, which provides it's more spread out, or you can do the thumbnails. So it provides you with a quick glance, so you can glance at all the photographs. And then if there's one that you want to learn more about, or you want to look at more closely, you can simply just click on the link and pull up the picture and enlarge it as much as you would like. So this collection here talks about African American education collections, and there's a lot of great information included in this collection. And we can see that the creator here is Miss Annie McPheeters, who is the first professional African American librarian, and she helped to desegregate the Atlanta Public Library System, which is what we were named at the time. And so from her collection, we were able to pull a great deal of information about education. And through this collection, you can learn more about various churches, including Warren Memorial United Methodist Church. You can also learn about different organizations and different institutions within the Black community. You can also learn about Black Caucus, which is the American Library Association Black Caucus. And so if you were curious as to what they were talking about in 1990s, you can actually read their newsletter and BCLAers. That's interesting. So they're talking about the different individuals, and then just some more information about the organization. So it's a very good way to do a walk in history. And with this education collection, you'll actually learn more about Black librarianship as well, because, of course, Miss McPheeters was a librarian. And so even though it says education, you can still learn about churches. Because if you were interested in Warren Memorial United Methodist Church, these programs would actually help you with that. And so that's one of the great things, like I said, about archives. You just really never know what you're going to find. And archives are as unique as the people who collect them. And so this is a really great look back at a program that Warren Memorial had, and it was actually signed. So I'm guessing it's from 1977. And it has a signature of the pastor as well. Yeah, 1977. Even has ads for different companies here. So if someone purchase an ad, you can see that here. And it also has some memorial ads too, which you just really, as I said before, never know what you're going to find. So one of the collections, and we can go down rabbit holes throughout this whole hour, but I did want to highlight one more collection that's available on the DLG website that we have digitized. So I'm just going to go through the steps again so that you can see it. So if you click Explore, click on Institutions, scroll down to Auburn Avenue, you can click there, and then you can select the Atlanta Funeral Programs collection. And this collection is a very popular one. And we have been working on this for a very long time, at least from, I think 2012 is when we actually started working on it. But the story behind this collection is that Auburn Avenue has a collection, ephemeral collection of funeral programs. And I approached the archivist at the time, Miss Carrie Cotton Williams, to ask about whether or not we could add to their collection, because we wanted to, as a group, the African American Historical Genealogical Society Metro Atlanta chapter, along with the Wesley Chapel Genealogy Group, wanted to start a funeral program collection. And so she was open to the idea, and we started collecting. We indexed the programs, and we stored them here at Auburn Avenue. And the only requirement for this collection was that they were African American. So it didn't matter where they lived or where they died. All that mattered was that they were African American. And so we were able to collect enough. And once we had collected a large collection of these, we were able to get them digitized with the assistance from the Georgia Home Place, as it was called then, but it's actually the Department of Archival and Reproductive Services at the Georgia Public Library Service. And so, with their assistance as well as with DLG, we were able to get the program scanned and they've been indexed. And so, this is a resource for anyone who has an interest in learning more about local history, family history related to these individuals. And so, within this collection, you can actually do a search. So, if you click on new search in this collection, so okay, I just wanted to make sure you can type by surname. So if you type in Swinger, which is one of the surnames I'm researching, once you type it in, anyone who has Swinger in the program will be listed. And it looks like that's most of my people there. So that's my uncle. Mr. Leonard Swinger is my other uncle. Like the first three are my uncles. And then these last two here are my grandparents, my maternal grandparents. So those are their children. Well, those are my grandmother's children and my grandfather's stepchildren. But there's another program that shows up that has Swinger in there as well. So it'd be interesting to see where that term appears. It's interesting. I'm not seeing where it appears at a quick glance. But the interesting thing about this collection is that you have the metadata, which provides you some general information about the resource, but it also provides you with the digital link to the object. And so if we tried another search and we did, let's just say cemetery, I want to see what comes up. Let me type in cemetery. So we get over 1,000 hits, and it looks like cemetery appears on the front because a lot of individuals had gravesite um, graveside services. And so with the graveside services, there are, when they recorded the metadata for these resources, they captured all of the information that was on the front of the program. And so that actually helps to return information about the cemeteries as well. So if we look at the one here for Mr. Alford, he passed away in 2003 in North Carolina. And so we see his obituary. And the great thing about the obituaries is that it provides a biographical sketch of the individual. And the importance of funeral programs is that they, in many cases, serve as the only biographical sketch that an individual will have. So not only does this particular obituary provide information about his parents, it also provides information about his education, where he went to school, when he graduated. It also provides one of his nicknames, as he was known as Shades. And so sometimes we know when people um, are going through their lives, they are known by their nicknames. And so sometimes when people arrive to a funeral, they see a name that they're not familiar with, and only to learn that the person who they knew for their entire lives or the life of that person by Shades is actually his name is Lawrence. So that's one of the interesting things about working with these records is just getting a sense of who the person was and hearing about or learning about their life's journey. And so we know that Mr. Alford also served in the Army. He was a member of a church. He also he had a very fascinating career. And we also learn about his family and how many, um, his wife, his children, grandchildren, and other individuals and relatives. And so we also learn about him. We see different tributes from his obituary and also the appreciation. And so these resources are very valuable to anyone not only doing family history research, but also doing local history research. And so I had a question about this collection recently, and they asked, had we mapped it out? Had we connected it in some way to some other different avenues? And we have not, because our role in my opinion, is to collect the materials and make them widely available. And then it's up to the researchers to come and utilize these resources and actually explore their full potential, if you will. And so at this time, that concludes the information that I wanted to share. And I wanted to see if there was any questions from the audience. I think you should be able to put it in the chat. And if not, then we will bid everyone a good day and thank you for joining us. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate you coming. And thank you, Ms. Sampson, for joining us as well. Hopefully, the information shared was useful and that no, it does not. If you, on the left, under the refine, so if we just go back to the main collection, so let me go here. And if I click the click the X, it's going to pull up the total of 3346. So location, you can actually, if we see all values, so we're on the side on the left, under refine, we clicked on location. So it's going to give you the location of the funeral program and the number. But if we click on see all values, it will give us the full list. And so we can sort by numerical sort. So you'll see that most of the bulk of the programs are coming from Fulton County, Atlanta. But if we were to just do A through Z sort, you can see that we have funeral programs from Jamaica. There's one from Liberia. The ones from the United States, I'm not really sure if they provided any additional information. We might have to look at that a little bit closer. But we have several from Alabama. We have some from California. We have some from Delaware, Washington, D.C., Florida, Georgia. We have several different counties represented, and Georgia is probably going to be the longest. But we have some from Illinois, Indiana, Maryland, Louisiana, Kansas. So, yeah, it's not just Georgia. So, there are funeral programs from a lot of different places. And so, if there's a certain location that you're looking for and you just want to see who was there, so let's see if we can do Kansas. Let's just type in Kansas and see what we come up with. So, we type in Kansas because we're in the collection. So, it's only going to search for that. And by typing in Kansas now, that also includes people with Kansas in the name, but also Kansas as a location. So this person, um, Irving J. Griffin, he's in Kansas, and this person is in Kansas. So there may be the term Kansas showing up in some of these other locations, but in terms of the locations being represented, these two are the one here. And so we can also do the same thing with Maryland. So we can type in the states. Uh-oh, we gotta learn how to type first. And so just looking out on the left where it says text, it says 79. So these are some that are possibly in Maryland, but if it's Maryland Avenue, is also going to show up as well. So if you wanted to get rid of all the extra stuff, you can go over here to location and you can click Maryland, City of Baltimore, or you can do C values and then just do the sort, and then you can see here where it has Maryland, City of Baltimore has 3. Then we have Dorchester County, Prince George's County, as well as, and that's it. So we just have a few from Maryland. So that's the best way to navigate. So let's see. Let me close this top one. Screven County. So yeah, let's do that. So if we remove that X, clear out our search, and we just do Screven County, there are actually two from Screven. It looks like. Let me take out county and see what comes up. Yeah. So there are two. Let me just check location. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe the person was born in Screven. Let's see. Because it was weird that it would show up. Okay. Yeah, he attended school in Screven County. So that's why I showed up in the Screven County search. So that's really cool and that's good to know because I always thought it was just pulling information from the titles. But it's good that they're actually searching within the obituary. So if you were looking for people who were born in Screven County, you actually can find that. So one of my research locations is Morgan County. So now that I know that, which I just learned something new, thank you for that question, Miss Sampson, because I didn't know it was searching. It was searching like that. So if I do Morgan County or whatever location I'm researching, I can now find people who are actually born in Morgan County. So that might be cool. But Morgan is actually in the name. So if we look at Dr. Jones, and let's see what's going on with Dr. Jones and why his name showed up. I see it. I think it was because of someone with the last name Morgan. I thought I just saw it. Yeah. Dr. Marvin Morgan officiating. So it's also the officiant. So I wonder if we play around with this and do quotes. Let's see what happens when we put in quotes. So we go from 142 to 35. So yeah. Okay. So this is fun. So we know Morgan County Church of Christ. Huh. Wow. I just learned a new way to look at this. So, as someone who's researching in Morgan County, it's really interesting to read funeral programs for people who live there just to kind of get a sense of, where they live, what churches, because like she attended Mount Zion School near Buckhead. So, if I was curious about that, now I know that it was near Buckhead, Georgia, which is in Morgan County. So, thank you for that question because I haven't really played around with researching in this collection like this. But yeah, learned something new. So, do we have any additional questions? Because sometimes the best way to learn how to use these resources is to do just like I did, just play around with them and throw in different things. And so sometimes you have to think outside the box, but it's always fun to find new things. Like, we can type in Morgan County or let's do Screven. Because the thing about this resource is it's actually a digital portal. It's a portal for digital collections from across the state. So if we type in Screven County, so now we see that we have over 5,700 items, including maps and some other stuff. So I have some homework myself now because I need to put in Morgan County and see what kind of maps they have here. So it's like you know about the resources, but sometimes you just have to take a moment to stop yourself and actually start utilizing it and just see what's there. So this is really, really cool. Wow. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I'm amazed too. And so it's really cool to see the images. But then the other thing to really make sure to make note of is the holding institution. Because what you see is probably just a small portion of what they actually have. So this resource is amazing in the sense that you can go shopping for institutions, but also information. So that's really, really cool. I'm gonna have to do another session on the Digital Library of Georgia. This is amazing. Wow. All right. With that being said, now that my mind has been blown, I just want to say thank you guys for joining us and not having me talk to myself. So it's great to have some people in here with me and interacting with me as well. So um, thank you so much for joining us on a day after a holiday before the weekend. So that was really that's really big. And so, as I said before, this session is being recorded, so the recording will be available on our YouTube channel within a week or so, maybe 2 weeks because of the holiday, but it will be available for viewing. And so, again, thank you so very much. And of course, if you have any additional questions, you can always give us a call at the Auburn Avenue Research Library. You can reach out to us. And I'm sorry for scrolling so quickly, but nope, our number doesn't show up. Ha ha ha. Where does it show up? Do, do. Does it show up on here? It might show up on there. That one. I'm still learning our website. Yeah. So this is ours and our address as well as our phone number. So if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to assist you. So again, thank you so much and you guys have a wonderful day.